Hello, everybody. This is Carol Maletta. Welcome to the Parenting 411 podcast, where we share information parents need from sources they can trust. Welcome to the Parenting 411 podcast, where we deliver information parents need from sources they can trust. We dive into the world of parenting, from relating to your kids, taming the temper tantrums, and keeping them healthy and safe. Also, helping them excel in school, sports, and everything in between. Today, I am thrilled to have two incredible guests who are going to join me. First up, we've got Coach Leia Towe, a basketball dynamo who turned her early passion into a life on the courts. From playing alongside WNBA greats to overcoming injuries and excelling in semi-pro leagues, Leah's journey is nothing short of inspiring. She has a rich background in sports management and a heart for coaching, so she's here to share her playbook on nurturing young athletes. So why don't we get started? Welcome, Coach Lee.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. You know, I always love to talk basketball in particular, so.
Everybody. That is the game. That is the name of the game right now. It's basketball season time.
Right. So let's talk about it. What qualities do you think athletes and their parents should look for in a good coach?
Well, the first thing for me would be character. How does this coach interact with youth? How do they interact with parents? Do they seem to have a good rapport? They're really out for the athlete's benefit. And then look into the knowledge of the game too. How much do they really know about the game? Are they there for just to have a title, which playing and coaching in this game, you kind of see different types of coaches out here that are more for the coaching title but really don't have the background. Then you have the coaches that are really out here for the wins and don't care about building up a kid. They just want to take dubs. So it's a lot of things that you want to lock in as a parent and as a player. But a lot of stuff more so comes from in my experiences, comes from the parents more than the actual player. What they need for their kid and what they're looking for and how to develop their kid. Most kids know how to adapt, but if you have a helicopter parent who's involved in everything and does not allow the kid to just experience the game and experience life, you're going to find that you're panning to more the parent than you are to the kid anyway. So.
And, we certainly have seen a lot of stories about that. I mean, definitely in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, it's so competitive, and you do hear a lot about parents overstepping, but really nationwide and not just in basketball, where parents are really going overboard, challenging the referees and of course the coaches about their children's playing time
absolutely.
or how they're being how the referees are doing their job. So that you hit on a very important point there. Now, I wonder, a lot, you start out introducing your children to different sports, and then you kind of figure out what they like. I'm wondering if you could describe the transition process for, going from that space where they're just playing for fun and then moving to higher levels of competition.
So it's a thin line, right? You as a parent have to separate what you expect for your kid, because I think we as parents see our kids being so great and doing so much, and you in your mind they can accomplish the world, but in their mind they're like, I don't want to accomplish the world. I want to just play with the sandbox, and that's it. I don't care about basketball right now. So the first step is really just allowing your kid to kind of navigate the sports space, and see the different things. So like, us raising our firstborn, we had him in soccer, we let him try football, but basketball was his end all be all. I mean, to looking at highlights, to studying film, to looking at different high school games, and he just enthralled himself in basketball. So it was kind of like, okay, this is the next level for him. Then for us, the next step was, well, how bad do you want it? Because we can put you in all these type of activities and we can put you in all these great programs, but if you really don't want it and you're not willing to do the extra work for it, we're not going to invest thousands and thousands in the AAU and everything like that when we could just put you in a rec league and you can play this game for fun and enjoy it. So it really comes down to really understanding your kid and understand what they want and helping them guide through the process of, yeah, it's going to be tough, but to be at the next level, you got to go through the tough, you got to go through the adversity to be successful. However, don't do this because you think this is what we want. We want you to do it because this is what you want. So if you decide that honestly you don't want to do the work and you really just want to play just to play, then that's where we got to go. So it's kind of like you really got to be in tune to what your kid is truly capable of and what they want, not what you want. Because like I said in the beginning, all of us want our kid to be the next, we talk about basketball. We want all of us want to have an NBA player. We all want that D1 college. We all want that scholarship. So we ain't got to pay nothing out of pocket, but we got to be realistic. You know what I mean? We have to be realistic on the type of kid that we have and what they really are going to put forth to get to that next level.
Right. And I have to tell you, I mean, I wasn't that particular about whether our son, who played basketball, who also played basketball in your program, your AAU program, whether he played in college or, beyond that.
Mhm.
But really, when he and his twin brother started playing basketball, they just really awakened something in me because that's the one sport I didn't play, which everybody, when they see me, they think, oh, I had to have played basketball. So, I mean, I
Right.
learned how to play basketball and all of that. And so when my one son, who was, a little more competitive, played a little longer than the other son, when he was sophomore year, he said he didn't want to play anymore. And I'm like, wait, what you mean? I mean, I was all invested in the games and just
Right.
all of that. And he said, no, I'm just at the level. I mean, with what he was doing, he just didn't have the passion to put in to do the rest, to go to the rest of the way. He said, I'm not enjoying it anymore. And there are a lot of things going on around school that I can't even participate in because at the particular high school that he went to, they were kind of operating that almost like D1. I mean, they practiced 6 days a week and
Yeah.
they didn't have Christmas break and things like that. They practiced even then. We couldn't travel or do anything on breaks because they were in tournaments or practicing. So it ultimately worked out, and what happened was a few of the players on the team felt the same way. They had lost the love of the game because of the way it was being coached. So
Yes.
like 5 or 6 of them joined a rec league and they won the championship the next 2 years until they got out of high school. They won the championships and just to see them on the court smiling and laughing and making, playing good basketball. Obviously, they were beating everybody, but
Right.
it was just a different experience for them. So you really do have to tune in. But I have to admit, I'm just like other parents as well. I didn't have the higher aspirations, but I just loved watching them play. And
Right.
just when
Right.
he really looked me in the eye and said, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I don't like this anymore. I had to listen. So I'm glad that you're a coach. So I'm glad that you're saying that too, because
Yeah,
you want
absolutely.
players for your team, but you also care about the player, and that's
No, absolutely.
so
And as a
important.
coach, I mean, it's that's kind of the fine line that you have to decide as a coach what you're coaching into too. Like you want, as a coach, I want the players that want to be here. So like one of the things that I do hear a lot of, which is true, but there's also another perception you can look at it. A lot of kids quit playing because of a coach, right? Because of a coach made it not fun, because of a coach didn't cater to their type of personality. It's going to be very hard to find a coach who's able to be assertive, to demand the necessary athleticism out of their players, but also knows how to love on them the right way and reach them where they're needed, right? It's very
Mhm.
hard to come across that. Um, And so for players, the way that I try to explain to a lot of players, you're never going to always have that perfect coach that just knows how to coach you and 12 other kids. It's impossible. However, you should never let that deter you from the game, because it's just like a job, right? I love using this game as a life skills boat. You're never going to have the perfect boss, but you want to be in this field, right? So you
Right.
have to go through the steps, and you have to be able to navigate the great bosses and the hard bosses to really be able to be successful, because that's just a part of life. If it was so easy, everybody would be doing it on a regular basis, right? Everybody would be the next Jeff Bezos. Everybody would be the next WNBA, NBA player if it was easy. But there's going to be moments in seasons where you're going to have a coach that you just don't vibe with. So how do you continue to be successful? Well, you got to find the why that you're really doing it. If you're doing it just to have fun, then yes, you're not going to have a successful career in the game. But if you're doing it because you have aspirations of longevity in this game, you want to go to the next level, you want to go beyond, you want to then utilize the game to get you into the other aspects of the sport, then you're going to have to endure these hard moments and learn how to work with hard people and level up. You know what I mean? And now when you get to that next level, just like they say, the higher the level, the greater the devils. Well, once you accomplish this devil, right, this level of hardship, and you get to the next level, you're gonna see some piece of it at some point. You can be like, oh, I've been there, done that, I know how to get past that. Now let me go on. So that's why when it comes to that type of the players and the kids that just quit, sometimes I really wish that they had somebody that could speak into that. Like, listen, yes, it's hard. Yes, Coach Joe is just, it's not your type. What else can you do to be successful in this game? He might
Mm-hmm.
not be able to communicate to you the right way, but you know what you need to do. How do you tune that piece of it out and still put forth your best effort? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of moving pieces in this game, and you just got to be the right person to be able to level up and get to the next levels of sports.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what are some ideas that you have for parents in terms of how they can best support their children along the journey from starting being introduced to the sport to deciding, yeah, this is a sport I really want to focus on and do well at?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I get it lucky because I am that parent now, and I'm also a coach, so I see both sides of it. Um, from the parent perspective, the first thing that we really do is really get in tune with our kid to see, well, what do you want to do? Like, what is your goals? What do you want to do with this game? Is it just for now? So like, our son, he got into football, but he's really not football, but he loves playing flag football with his boys, right? So
Okay.
he wanted to sign up for different leagues and stuff like that. And so we had to, okay, well, are we doing this just to have fun, or are we doing this because you ultimately want to try football in high school and it's going to be a thing for you? Like, because if it is, then we need to start navigating what that looks like. But it was just conversations like, no, I just like playing flag football with my boys. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
basketball, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go to the highest level. Do you understand? So from there, we end up having the conversation. Being that me and my husband both have backgrounds in the games at the highest level, what do you understand what this looks like? Because if you want to do this, just know it's about to be a journey for you. And to be honest, when you get to the collegiate realm, it's fun. It's amazing to be a true student athlete in college, but it's a job, because at the end of the day, now somebody's paying you a scholarship to
Mm-hmm.
be here and perform. And if you don't perform, it's on me now as a coach, and I will get rid of the non-performing players before they get rid of me. So those are the type of conversations we really started to dig into with our son to see, okay, do you understand? Are you ready for this? Because if you are, we're about to put in the work. And then, we started to build on that. So that would be the first step as a parent, really understanding what your kid is trying to do with the game. And again, not you, what are they trying to do, right? And so then from there, then you would just try to start setting up, the avenues. Okay, we start rec league, we start travel, um, the trainings. If you go to a training session, be very, um, eyes open and specific what type of trainers that you get. You don't want a trainer who's just throwing out cones and we just doing drills and we doing Steph Curry stuff and we don't even have to know how to do a layup. You know what I mean? You want a trainer who's very detailed and builds foundation and fundamentals first. So you just start to get involved with all that type of stuff, and then put your ear to the ground to see, okay, what programs are really excelling their athletes and really involved with their athletes. What programs can allow your kid to be seen. So those are kind of the slow steps that you start to walk into. Once you get to the high school level, then that's a whole other thing. That kind of, for me, I feel like takes a village, especially as a student athlete, to get through that level, because you're looking at they got to be NCAA certified. They got to be academically prepared. They have to be athletically built. Like you say, you're looking at 6 days a week of practices. So how do I now balance that as a student? Like that's a lot for a lot of kids, being able to balance the two. So you might have to look into tutoring, might have to look into study halls and all that kind of stuff. So I believe that high school realm is like, it takes all of us to really get just one athlete through the door to that next level. So it's a lot of little moving parts, but again, the first biggest thing that I would always say to parents is make sure you understand what your kid is trying to do. Once you really have an understanding of what they're trying to do and you've fed into that passion, then you'll be able to navigate it easier.
We'll be right back after this. If you're looking to reach a massive audience of parents and caregivers, then look no further than Pro Picks by the Parenting 411, the ultimate marketing program designed to skyrocket your brand to new heights. With Pro Picks, we've created 3 incredible packages to suit your marketing needs and budget. So let's take a look. First up is our social starter package. You'll receive a stunning graphic promo piece, plus we'll also feature your brand on the Parenting 411 Instagram page. It's the perfect way to make a memorable first impression and get parents buzzing about your business. Now, if you're ready to level up, our Parenting Pro package is where it's at. You'll enjoy all the benefits of the social starter package, plus more awesome benefits, including exposure on the Parenting 411 podcast, which reaches parents in more than 22 countries each week. But wait, there's more. For those seeking the pinnacle of marketing power, our Elite Exposure package is the way to go. You'll get even more exposure across our platform, including thousands of followers and connections on LinkedIn. Get ready to dominate the airwaves and establish yourself as the go-to resource for families everywhere. Take advantage of Pro Picks by the Parenting 411 today and unlock unparalleled marketing opportunities for your business. But I should tell you that prices are set to increase on November 1st, so act now. Pro Picks by the Parenting 411 is your passport to the hearts and minds of parents. Visit ProPicksbyP411.com. Join us today and watch the magic happen. And we're back with the Parenting 411. And so how do you strike that balance, though, between pushing them really hard to get to that next level and, also helping the children to maintain a healthy relationship with the sport?
It was a learning process. We didn't hit it right. So again, Christian, he's got the worst of it that we always feel from any athlete in our area, because you got 2 parents that play the game that you love, and we are passionate about it. So for us, it used to be a little rough in the beginning because, again, we saw, and CT has always been excelled in this game. He's always been ahead of his age group even to this day. But he then went into a phase where we're trying to excel because, everybody's got a trainer. Everybody's playing the elite basketball. He wanted to just go outside and ride bikes. And we're like, yeah, but you got to get on the court, dog, because everybody's hooping. Like, we got it. And it got down to a point where we were like, well, who are we doing this for? Like, is this for us because we want to stay ahead and get him better, or is this for him? So we had to step back and understand again our son's mindset, and we had to create a little bit of a balance. So okay, Monday through Friday, or say Monday through Thursday, you're locked into practice. Friday, free day. Do whatever you want to do. On the weekends, play your video games. Unless you have a basketball game, then we're focused on that. But once you're done, do your thing, kid. Like that's it. So it was like understanding that he needed to be pushed, but then still giving him balance so that he wasn't overwhelmed because he's still young. And we didn't want him to get into the high school level and start to hate the game because he's been pushed so hard. So it's kind of like, and for us too, it's faith, right? You have to trust if this is truly for him, if this is truly what God has ordained for his life, for his future, no matter what we do, God's gonna get the last call. He's gonna get the end result. So we have to learn, hey, we can guide you, we're gonna show you, we're gonna give you the options, but at the end of the day, it's between you and the Lord to really make this thing happen. And so that's how we really started to play it. So we really started to, after games, we used to be after games, we'd be like, you could have A, B, C, and D. What you trying to eat now? We ain't saying nothing about the game. What you trying to eat? Cool. You want to go to the mall or something? Like, and it took us as coaches and as former players to be like, don't you say, like, as soon as one of us goes, we both look at each other, hey, not now, right? So we give Christian time to get his regroup, and he's now starting to come to us and be like, hey, should I have did this better? Should I did this? So now it's open dialogue. Now he wants the feedback, and when he wants it, then we'll give it to him. So it's just it's remembering that they're kids. They're still kids. Even if you have the super elite, they're still a kid, and they deserve to live life as a child and not live life as an adult, grinding. It can't get older and tell you about the cartoons he watched on Saturdays or the bike that he fell off of with his boys. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we ended up navigating and trying to create that balance.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
now I want you to put your coaching hat back on, Coach Lee, and
Okay.
talk about the strategies you use to uplift other people's kids on your teams when they feel discouraged or defeated.
Yeah. That's this generation is different, right? It is like when we grew. I remember when I played, and the girls and the guys that I played with, like, you just went outside and you just first of all we went outside and we hooped. Nowadays kids don't believe in playing outside because their sneakers and their gear and all that kind of stuff. So that's the first thing. Like, we just went outside, we played, we fell out, we did whatever. You went home and was done. You know what I mean? You get fussed out by a coach. It was what it was. You kept pushing. Now, I mean, any raising of the voice, you're going to get parent, the AD, the next, like, it's a whole thing, right? So for me now in this space, again, my biggest thing is getting to know my athletes, like personally getting to know them, seeing what their quirks are, seeing what I can really push and what I can't push, and also getting to know their families, because you'll come to find out some kids can be pushed because they might have the athletic family, so they're used to it. So like I have a girl, she has all brothers. I don't care what I tell her under the sun. I could fuss her out. I could be her best friend. She is going to give me the same energy all the time. And I love it. Right. Then on the flip side, I have a young lady who's all sisters, and it's her and all moms. And it's just, she's very sensitive. All right. So you can't say but so much to her, and you've got to be delicate when you need to give her that fire. So it's really like you really have to get to know your kids, honestly, to be successful in this coach, especially nowadays in this coaching industry. If you don't get to know your kids, you're not going to have the greatest seasons and or the greatest career, because you don't know how to navigate to their personalities. And then the other thing is just also these kids are carrying so much weight, which for us, when we hear about it, we're like, are y'all serious? But
Right.
for them, it's an end all be all in this world for these kids. And so it's really understanding their mindsets, because something that our generations would have been like, that's dumb. You're fine. Get over it. It is like the end of the world. And then next thing you know, they're really ready to do something crazy, right? So that's the other reason why, as a coach, you have to get to know. So for me, that's the very first step. Any new team that I get, I'm doing team bonding. We're going out to brunch. I'm asking questions, with your siblings, you got players here. Have you played this game before? What's your background look like? Do you play other sports? Because that will help me navigate what type of team that I'm building and what type of kids that I have on the team. So that's always the first thing that I do.
Mm-hmm. And so what does motivation look like in your sport, and how do you keep it going?
It's hard. like Um, because again, like for me, my motivation was like, yo, I'm trying to score double digit. I liked after a game when everybody came up to me, was like, yo, good game, you dropped X amount. So every game I try to play, and I'm trying to drop X amount of points every single time, trying to be the talk of the town. But that was it. Like that was how you didn't have to push me so much to get me to go. Now it's like you really have, again, get to know your kids, because one motivation could be, well, I just like to be here because of the camaraderie of the team. Another one is, well, I'm trying to play at the next level, so I need this type of push, and I need to be motivated so I can be successful. But then the other ones really, what I've started to really do is be more inspiring than motivating.
Mm.
Because motivating is, for me, like it's a moment, right?
Mhm.
You want to lose 10 pounds, so you got to get up off the couch and walk down the street and back every single day to lose 10 pounds, because that's what you want. That's your motivation. So if you want to lose the 10 pounds, you got to get up and you got to eat apples every day, and you're going to be successful. But then once you hit your 10 pounds, you're done, because you're good. So you just needed that motivation for the moment to hit the 10 pounds. Inspiration for me is the longevity of it, right? So yes, you wanted to hit the 10 pounds, but look, I'm not even going to just worry about your 10 pounds. I want you to live a longer life. I want you to be healthy so that you can see your kids and your kids. So we're going to hit the 10 pounds, but we're going to change this into a lifestyle so that you'll be able to not only continue to lose weight, but you'll have a healthy lifestyle that's going to last you a long time, right? So that's where I'm at with this game. Like, yeah, I'm gonna motivate you in the moment, because in this game, I need
Mhm.
you right now to knock down these layups. I need you to finish these free throws. I need you so we can win this game in the moment. But I'd rather also you to love this game so much and understand that it's going to take you and allow you to see different aspects of life, not just in basketball, but connect you to people that can help you with your future, and also build the discipline that you need to be successful. So that's why I want you to play this game. I want you to use this game as a tool for your future, right? So
Mhm.
don't need you for the moment, but I want you to love it for a lifetime. So I'd rather inspire my kids to really be successful, not just in the game, but for life, successful in life. And this is the tool that they use to be able to see adversity, overcoming adversity,
Mhm.
continuing to fight, what winning looks like, to sustain the win, and then just to work hard to gain the successes and the things that you want in life.
Right. And you mentioned, the downside. I mean, obviously you play to win, and that's exciting, and everybody's up and pumped up. But there can be losses as well, and
Yeah.
disappointments also. So I'm wondering how you integrate, mental health and consideration for your players' mental health into your coaching, both, at the high school level. I don't know if I said that earlier, that you're a girls' high school basketball coach, in addition to coaching through your own organization. How
Mhm.
do you do that?
Well, shucks. First, I had to make sure I was mentally right, because the game gets, as a former athlete, as a former player, like as a coach, you come into it with the mindset that you were raised on. So I came into, first of all, I didn't even think that I was ever going to be a coach, specifically team coaching. Training was cool. Um, but actually team coaching, I never thought that I would actually coach teams like that. It kind of just fell into my lap, and I just happened to be
Okay.
good at it. Um, but once I got into it, my mind, we win, we go hard, we win. And my first high school, 5 years in high school, coaching high school, I was at one of the worst schools in the entire county. Like through history, they've never won. Like maybe a total, if you went over the past 40, 50 years, they probably have had uh winning seasons actually it has been almost every 10 years they have a winning season.
Okay.
And so my first 2 years there, I was like, you couldn't win because you just didn't have kids that knew how to play. You had kids that woke up in high school and said, "Oh, I'm gonna play basketball. Don't know nothing about it, but I'm in high school now, so I'm gonna try this sport." So for coaching, the mental toll that took on me, like I'm losing every game. I'm giving every detail that I know about this game. I'm coaching these kids up. I'm teaching them basic fundamental basketball, and we still could not overcome.
Mm.
And it mentally took a toll on me because I'm like, I win. That's how I was grew up. That's how I was raised. That's all I knew. Even in my losses, I still came back and won. Like, what are we supposed to do here? So for me, that was my first learning curve, overcoming a mental, um, not necessarily mental health, but a mental issue that as a
Mhm.
coach, I had to, okay, how do I overcome this rut personally? Because at the end of the day, you can coach up kids all you want to, but they still have to execute. So it's not, when people say, oh, coach, you got for you to be the greatest coach, you're the greatest coach because you got no, you're the greatest coach more than likely because you had the right set of players. You
Mhm.
guided them, but you still need players to be that coach. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
when you don't have it, it's not to say you're not a good coach. You just don't have the kids that know how to play this game. So for me, it was a mental thing to overcome that part. Like, okay, change perspective. How do I still win without actually having the scores that win? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that really helped me walk into now with these kids, what they're going through. How do you help them overcome their mental setbacks? So a lot of stuff you deal with is, kids going, say, for example, in a shooting slump, or kids not performing to the highest capability because they're not only just thinking about basketball, but they're thinking about the grades that they got to make, and the college that they're trying to get into. Then on the flip side, you have the kids that got a lot of issues at home that they're carrying into the gym.
Mhm.
So again, it goes back to the first thing that I said. You got to get to know your kids, and then once you really get to know the kids, you'll know. For me personally, I know how to navigate the space, so I know how to teach my kids. Okay, and it's funny, I just had this conversation last night. One of my kids is struggling at home, and I mean heavy. And when she gets to the gym, you can say, I am the best reader of of body language. Best reader, know exactly. And when she comes in the gym, I can automatically tell something from home is killing her because it's all on her face. It's halfway like she's about to cry. And she pushes through it, but the whole time, if you give her a moment, it's a guarantee she's going to break down. So for me, it's after practice, I come and tell her, come straight to me, and I sit her down and we just talk. What's going on? Tell me what's going on. And I don't say, oh, this is what you need to do. I say, what do you need from me? You know what I mean? How can I help you navigate this space? And if she asks for my advice, then of course I give it to her. But if it's more that I just needed to talk to you, and she last night she was like, I just need your hug. Can you just hug me? Absolutely. Like
Mhm.
I'm here for you. So it's really when you deal with overcoming mental issues with these, mental capacities with these kids, again, you have to, I can't emphasize enough, you have to get to know your players. You have
Mhm.
to. Because if
Mhm.
you don't, you can miss the mark of what they need. And then you'll never be able to really navigate them to be the best person they can be. You know,
Mhm.
that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about too. I mean, especially even whether they go to the professional level or not, or even go, going back a step, even playing in college. I mean, these are
Right,
valuable life skills that they're getting and that are definitely transferable to what they're going to do in their careers, how they're going to operate in their communities, and certainly how they're going to navigate their own family life. When they get older. So,
right,
there's just so many wonderful benefits of participating in sports. Now, it's clear that you definitely love this beyond the basketball. You love shaping and molding kids' lives. Share a memorable moment or something that was really fulfilling for you from your experience coaching that just fuels you to keep going.
Um, Actually, this just happened, actually. So this season, going into this season for my high school, I plan, right? So I think about who I have, who's coming back, and the kids that I have this season are, in my mind and my coaching staff, the most phenomenal kids that I've probably had in a very, very long time. My AAU team has always been high level, but this high school team is now, compared to my AAU kids, like they're in my mind, they're good. They're good. And what I love even more about the all of them, they are like besties on and off the floor. So we went on and we did traveling, and they're together all the time. No drama, no foolishness. Like it's laughs and jokes the entire time. So in my mind, walking into the season, I was like, if you got a team with that type of camaraderie plus talent, you're gonna have a winning season.
Mhm.
So we ended up starting awesome, undefeated, rolling, and then my best player ended up getting hurt, and she
Mm.
was out for 4 games.
Mm.
Me, I still saw, well, yes, she's down, she's coming back, but I have this backup and this back. We're good. That's me though. Again, me imposing my will and my thoughts onto a team. Um, they didn't feel that way. Like they were scared that, like, defensively they were playing so strong. Offensively, they couldn't put the ball in the hole to save their, I don't care how much money you threw out there. It was almost like the basketball guys was on top of our basket every single time and was just smacking everything off. And we went through a season of our portion of the season just struggling. And I'm like, in my mind, and so then I'm starting to like really question, okay, is it me? Why is am I not saying something right? So it was a whole thing. And literally it goes back to my faith. Like I got into my closet and I heard this message, and it was saying, you have to be strong. It might not look like what you want it to be, but you have to be strong and you
Mhm.
gotta push. And it would literally sound like it was like directed, you, Coach Lee, have to be strong.
Mhm.
Find a new way to make this work. And I'm like, all
Okay.
right. So I ended up kind of switching up. I ended up challenging, so the main kid ended up coming back. And she started to get in this mind, like it was almost like she felt like she had to save the team instead of getting back invested with the team and helping the team get better.
Mhm.
And so it took me to sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna have to do some things that's gonna shake it up. I'm gonna have to sit her, and I'm gonna have to trust this. And we might lose the game, but it's gonna wake her up because she's a missing piece to really take us to the next level. While this is happening, I'm also going to make sure I'm building up the offensive side, because clearly there's something offensively that's not connecting. Let me keep doing this. While we're doing all that, we're doing leadership skills. We're doing,
Mhm.
like, I'm asking you guys, what is your why? Why are you playing this game? Tell me if it's me, and if I'm not giving you enough, tell me what I need to do better. And it ended up like all of us having a kumbaya, like, Coach Lee, it's not you. We need to figure it out. We're in our heads. We're kind of in a slump. We know you
Mm.
believe in us, but we got to do this, and we got to. And it was just talk. We just ended up talking, 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 pushing, fighting, playing really good, practices and stuff, and it was starting to click. So I said, okay, you guys got, now we just got to start performing. So we ended up playing the one of the biggest games that we were going to have this season last week with the number 1 team in our district. And I said, the only thing I told them beginning of the game,
Right.
I said, all I want you guys to do, finish, play hard, but have fun. That's it.
Okay.
So I
Mhm.
told them, and they all just started smiling. Girl, we came out there and I'm talking about everything that I envisioned in the beginning of the season came to pass this last game, putting us into an overtime and beating the number 1 team in our conference.
Wow.
And it was such a big win because the school has not beat this school since 2020. Many have not overcome this school. So like but it was so profound because it finally gave them the understanding of how good they were, the confidence of how good they actually are. Because I saw this in the beginning. I already thought we were going to beat them the first time around we saw them.
Mhm.
Um, but they needed to feel what I'm feeling. And so when they fought through that, even with the adversity, like we ended up going, it was a up down a little bit and back, and their main player started getting off, and it was like come on. And it was for me, coaching that was fun. Like, I was laughing. They had good music playing in the background, you know how I am with music. Um, it was good, and they saw it, and when they want just the love and the fight and the hugging, and like, it was so emotional. I mean, it got me because I was like, this is all I ever wanted for you guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
now I could have quit right after that game. I could have been, listen, I ain't even doing the rest of the season. I'm walking away with this one. Right. But it was such a influential and a memory that I will never forget, because again, the lead into it and the adversities we just couldn't overcome. It just seemed like it was just, oh my gosh, I don't know what else to do. Like, I'm pulling all the stops and nothing is working right now. And it took just that last push
Mm-hmm.
for them to feel it. And so now, they in this thing, came into practice cute yesterday. I had to bring them, snap them back for a second. But I was like, but I love your confidence now. So now let's
Right.
go into the rest of the season and keep carrying this energy. So
Mm-hmm.
we pray that we'll keep that thing on. But yeah, that was one of my most memorable moments. And like I said, I mean, for me, at the end of the day, with a lot of the life changes that happens, or moments that happen, man, I always gotta give testament. God definitely gives me vision and peace to get through those moments. And
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my kids about my faith too. Like, I don't ever impose it on them, but I always say, hey, God done brought me here. We pray before all of our games, even though it's not
Wonderful.
technically a county rule. But I never force them. I say, I'm gonna pray if you guys want to, and they all come hook arms with me, and we get
Mm-hmm.
into it, and we roll. So, yeah, that was. I know that was a little long, but that was a
No,
memorable
that's
moment.
great. No, that's really exciting. And I'm gonna get to, when do y'all play tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Yeah, I'm
Senior night
either
tomorrow.
doing that one or there's another one on my calendar. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And throughout our conversation, it's really clear what you think in terms of what's needed for coaching. And that's the first thing, is connecting with your kids, which you've talked about throughout. Also, what kind of pointers would you have for someone that wants to start an organization with kids, where they're guiding kids? Because I know you have the background in sports management and all of that. What kinds of recommendations or tips could you give to somebody that wants to get started? It could be soccer, could be any kind of sport, but
Yeah.
from that sports management side of it. We'll be right back after this. Are you a parent looking to unlock your potential in raising confident, capable, and courageous children? Well, look no further. Join us at the upcoming Parent and Purpose Summit Back to School Edition, where parenting experts from around the world will come together to share their wisdom and insights. I'm Carol Maletta, founder of the Parenting 411. This summit is your opportunity to gain essential skills and tools to become the parent you've always aspired to be. Over 5 incredible days, we'll dive deep into topics like positive discipline, effective communication, mental health, self-care, school readiness, and more. An attendee from our last summit told us, "This summit changed my parenting game. I feel more confident and connected with my children than ever before." So secure your seat at the Parent and Purpose Summit today. Visit parentandpurposesummit2023.com. That's Parent and Purpose Summit 2023.com. And click the registration button to join us on this transformative journey. The Parent and Purpose Summit, where intentional parenting begins. And we're back with the Parenting 411.
Yeah, so I got my undergrads in sports management and minor in marketing, and then I also got my MBA. So I would say the first thing is, getting into sports is the hardest career path that you can get into, because
Hmm.
sports is a position that once people lock in, they're lifers. Majority of them are lifers. They're locking in, they're staying there. So it's a very hard industry to get into.
Hmm.
Um, so I always tell all, I have other kids that go into sports management and marketing. It's a lot about who you know, and prayerfully you getting your foot into the door somewhere. Don't be opposed to starting at the bottom either. So like sometimes, like getting into the Wizards, you got to start at ticket sales. Ticket sales can always level up to this position and this position. As long as you can get into it, that's your main focus in this game. When it comes to starting your own business, I will be completely honest with you and tell you, I had no desire to do any of this entrepreneurship. I never knew nothing about it. And the crazy thing is my father he has jobs. We call him a Jamaican because he has 100 jobs. But my whole life he's always worked. But he also has had his own business for like 20 something years, never told me about it or anything. So me getting into running my own business was my husband. Daryl is a visionary. He's a visionary. He never wanted to work for anybody his whole life. He was a superstar athlete, you know, played professional, came overseas. When we got together, you know, I was good. I was working, I was leveling up into my career. I was making this good money, like everything. So working was what I knew and it was cool for me. And he was like, he worked because we had a kid, but he was like, oh, this ain't for me. So once we started CTAB, he jumped into it head first, full time first. And for me, again, because of how I was brought up, we need a cushion. Like, what if it don't work? Are we gonna be, you know, we got background? We gonna jump back into this? What's happening? But then it came again, decision. It came to the faith, and this part of we would have to have another podcast to talk about this. But when I tell you, clear as day, I heard God told me to make the leap of faith into CTAB and don't worry about your finances, don't worry about your safety net. I got you. I was like, all right. So in 2015, starting the business plan and everything, business plans, writing stuff out, applying for nonprofit and everything. That I did that. I knew how to do all that because that's what my schooling was about. And when I was working, I was a regional executive assistant, and so I knew how to manage people and all that kind of stuff. So all that was easy. It was just the fact of doing it for yourself. So once I jumped out in faith and had everything set up, everything's been rolling and we're going into year 11. We've been working for ourselves for now 11 years. So when people ask the how to, my biggest thing is you have to genuinely be ready to start your own business. Because if you're genuinely not ready and you don't understand what that's going to look like, it's going to be highs, it's going to be lows. Working for yourself is more frustrating and calls for more energy than working a 9 to 5 because you don't get no breaks. Like you might think that you're off at 6, but if you don't check that email, if you don't make them updates on that website, if you don't market yourself, you ain't gonna have no money coming in the door, right? So it's a 24-hour job other than when you compared to when you work a 9 to 5. So we always tell people you have to be prepared, truly prepared for what entrepreneurship looks like. Then the next thing I always tell people is, what's your plan? What does your business plan look like? Do you actually know what you're reaching out to, what you're trying to sell, what your demographic looks like, and how are you going to build it up? So like I've actually had this conversation with a couple of people because everybody was asking her, why did you do it? What did you do? And I'm like, that was the first thing. The faith aspect got me the push, but then the plan. Had a plan, had it set up, knew exactly what the ins and outs was going to look like before. And then we started to, dabble in it before really jumping full time into it. So that's the first two things that I always would tell people when it comes to, starting a business. Are you sure this is truly what you're ready for? And what is your initial plan? That's it. Once you get those two things settled, then you can start to break it off and start doing the details of it. But those are the biggest things because I think a lot of people see like, you see all these people with 15 minutes of fame on Instagram. So now everybody wants to be content creators and everybody wants to just do stuff on social media. Do you know how much stuff goes into creating?
Yes.
a daggone 30-second to 60-second clip and it's not just one every day. You got to do like 4 or 5 to have for the rest of the week. Like it's a lot. The blessing is that side of my life is my husband, so I don't have to stress myself about that. but I do have to stress myself about, okay, oh, the email came in, oh, a new client came in. We gotta make sure we schedule them and stuff like that. So I always tell people, tread lightly when
Mm-hmm.
you think you're gonna jump into this whole entrepreneurship world, because you have to be mentally and physically prepared for the work that you're about to put in. You
Mm-hmm.
really, really do. Even like the multimillionaires, everybody's all Jeff Bezos is a billionaire and all this. Do you know how much? I can only imagine how much he has to have on his plate on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
even when you take vacations, you're on vacation, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my gosh, are they running this thing right? Somebody gonna text, is this going, you know what I mean? Like it's,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing that sucks about being an entrepreneur. Like you really, really honestly don't really get a break. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it, you better truly have a love for it. You truly, truly have to have a love for it. And you also, in my opinion, have to love it so much that if you didn't have, for it to really stand the time, if you didn't have the finances behind it, would you still be doing it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think if you're always worried about the money side of it, you're not going to do this for a long time, because again, as a business owner, it's going to have highs, it's going to have lows. Are you still willing to push through during the lows to continue to make this thing be successful? Or are you going to quit as soon as you don't have the funding? So
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest things I would tell people when it comes to that.
And take a moment to tell our listeners about CTAB, what it stands for and what it is.
So CTAP is cross training athletes into believers. We are stand on the principle of 1 Peter 4:10, which is each of us have a gift to use to serve others as faithful stewards of God's given grace. So yes, we are technically a Christian-based organization, but the believer aspect is not for us to turn you into a Christian. Our believer aspect is with these students is truly finding something to believe in that will help propel them to their future. We really want to empower our student athletes on and off the court. So that's where CTAB came into play. What we do, training is the bread and butter, building up their skill sets on this basketball court, but then off the court, we also do life skills classes where we prepare them for what happens when the ball goes flat. Are you prepared for an interview? Do you know how to, prepare for the collegiate world? Do you know how to tie a tie? Like, you know what I mean? Like simple thing. Do you know how to
Mhm.
do cursive? That is a thing. Kids don't know how to sign their names nowadays.
Right.
Um, so all of this stuff is what CTAB stands for. We also do a give back every year where we do a Thanksgiving drive for the families that are unable to have a amazing Thanksgiving. And then we try to do other little give backs throughout the year, whether it's we've cleaned up Aquaquan before out here with at a senior center and all that kind of stuff. So CTAB is just for me um, gives parents and players an opportunity to build skills in basketball, but again, utilize the game to prepare for their future.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's why I really wanted you to share it. And I just, the whole everything that you described about it was what really impressed me back when I got a flyer or something.
Mm-hmm.
When one of my sons was playing basketball, he's playing travel basketball, I think. And so we got this flyer, and I'm like, well, we're already playing here. Who who gave us this, And so then I looked at it. I mean, went home that night and I was up very late and looked at it. And I just really like the principles that you talked about. Again, and for you all, it's really rooted in your faith, but it's like you said, is you're not trying to force people to be believers in your faith, your Christian faith, but to believe in something and to believe in themselves. And I just really liked it, what you all had. So I know it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I just sent an email just saying, oh, wow, I just learned about your organization. My sons are already in a program, but I just had to send you a note, just say that I really admire what you all have set up here and wish you all the best of, continued success. And somebody wrote me back. I was like, they're
Probably
up.
me.
It was so
It was
funny.
probably me.
That was
Yeah.
so funny. So, I can certainly attest that, the passion is there, the competitive spirit, Absolutely. The know-how, the knowledge of the game is there. And I strongly encourage people to look them up, follow them, CTAB and Coach Lee on social media. I'll give her a chance to get ready to tell you about that and just to take a look at what their organization is all about. And if you're in the area, you can participate in it. If you're not, you at least will know what to look for in an organization that you might want to put your children in your local area. So why don't you tell us how everybody can follow you and learn more about CTAP and all of the work that you do?
Absolutely. So you can look us up on our website. It's CTAB, CTAB hoops.org. That's the website. Or you can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and that's at CTAP Hoops. Then lastly, you can follow me at Coach Lee _, and that's with one E, Coach Lee _. And the other thing that we didn't talk about, we also have our own podcast, my husband and I, called The Real Love in Basketball, which is also, you can find that on social media, on Instagram at The Real Love in Basketball. And all of our episodes are on YouTube. And there we talk about faith, family, and business. So we are just all basketball. That's my whole life. That's why I am an expert in this game.
That
So
you
we got a lockdown on all levels. So yes, I hope that people see this. I hope that they reach out. We are always here, even if you're not in the area, but you just need help navigating this space. Hit us up. We're here for you guys. And if you are here, come play for us. Come play for me.
Well, thank you so much. And to our listeners, as always, follow us at the Parenting 411 on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, if you want to catch the video of this interview you're listening to, head on over to the channel on YouTube at the Parenting 411. I have something for you. I want you to head on over to bit.ly/fireproof2. That's bit.ly/fireproof2 and grab something I've got for you. They're affirmations and quotes for helping you to get through crisis. They're fireproof quotes, so that you can feel like you can walk through crisis and walk through the fire and come out victorious. And I always tell you, it's never too late to be the parent you want to be. Can't wait to talk to you again next time. Take care.